My name is Wyndham Bailey, and I am Milenko's stepdaughter. He was married to my mom for 16 years. We met him in 1988 in Dubrovnik. And then he was with us all through my childhood growing up. And I continued a relationship with him even after he and my mother divorced.
Wonderful.
Thanks so much for joining us at Wayne's Theater. It's really exciting to have you here so that you can experience some of Milenko's original artwork, summer 2023. I know that his family in Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia, all of them are really excited that his art continues to be shown, even after he has gone back to rejoin his family. He grew up in sort of war-torn former Yugoslavia. His father disappeared in the war. Later married a woman and took care of her as she battled and journeyed cancer. He went to medical school for some time, and so that definitely influenced his figures and animals that he worked with when he was painting and carving. And he spent a lot of time in such a beautiful place in former Yugoslavia. And if you've never been, it's sort of James Bond's world, the walled cities and the Adriatic Sea, which is just brilliant blue, old buildings, and just fantastic place to live. I know when I lived there as a child, definitely shaped my own life, and you can see it in his art all the time. So then later coming to America really is like such a different moment in his history because, Charlottesville couldn't have been more different than Dubrovnik, Yugoslavia. And I remember even when he came, his first Halloween, for instance, he had never experienced Halloween before, and he was kind of freaked out. All the kids were dressed up in scary little outfits, and there was some time where I saw those figures would pop up in his art, and so I think it's really just the collection. He was like very childlike in a lot of ways because it was like, whoa, this is happening. I think one of the important pieces here is just how varied his artwork is. At one point, I remember he just carved bone for years. And he just would sit, it was very intricate, and these pieces were, could fit in your hand. And he would carve these beautiful boxes, sort of in the style like someone might have carved ivory when you could work in ivory. So from that to clay, to jewelry, to painting, there was always so much going on. His art studio was amazing in our house as a child. I remember, had sort of different places, different stations where he would be working on his artwork. And you would see something that he was carving, he'd then try it on the canvas and see what it looked like, and maybe he'd like it or not. But he definitely tried all the things in all the different mediums to see what stuck. Yeah. But I do think at a certain point he would say this is finished. And it's been interesting as I've been going through his things, because I dismantled his art studio and that kind of thing, to turn things over and go, oh, this was a 10-year project, or wow, this just was a 6-month project. And so I think there was a lot of variety there. He must have known, just on the last trip going through some of his artwork, and I came across this amazing goat painting, and it was so fun. There was so much going on. There was a headband, earrings, anklet, great colors, bright, happy colors. And I turned it over, and to my delight, it said self-portrait on the back. It was so fantastic. I was by myself, but it was, and I could see him in it. Of course, turned it back over and went, oh yeah, there he is. Everyone loved to talk to him, and he loved to listen to them. And someone would stop and talk to him, and he'd just right on the spot paint them or draw, or say, "Can I take a picture so I can draw you later?" Um, so I found a lot of photos of people, even just from art shows and that kind of thing. He had a whole series just dedicated to people that were walking around in art shows. Well,
Awesome.
I do think it is special because, for one thing, it's really the largest collection that's still unsold. And unless one of us in the family decided to sell the things that we have, um, so it's sort of the last opportunity for the original art to go out. There are a few pieces here and there in other venues, but for the most part, this is what's left of his art, and so it's a great opportunity to catch a piece while they're still on the market.
Now,
So Malenko came to the area, to the region, it really in 1991, more permanently, when the war started in former Yugoslavia. And he has just been an amazing part of the community in sort of five places as I see it. In Charlottesville proper, out in Crozet, where he spent quite a lot of time, Nelson County, where he also spent a lot of time. He had an art studio on 151 out there. And then over in Lexington, Virginia, I mentioned he was there. Um, and then he took his show on the road also, and spent a lot of time at art shows up and down the Eastern Seaboard. And I just feel like he's given a ton to the community, in the artist community. And I'm sure of it, because as I've gone through this process, the amount of people that have reached out to me, other artists, to lift me up and support me as I walk through this process has been just amazing. So I'm really thankful and happy to keep, his spirit alive and his artwork alive as he, is over with his family, spending time in Belgrade, able to speak his native language and be in places that are really familiar to him, um, and is in such a better situation. It's really, frankly, just amazing what happened, that his family, with open arms, pulled him back to Yugoslavia. We are so happy about that. And so I'm just happy that we can all pull together and continue to support him. And any of the proceeds that come in from this show will directly go to him. And so that's about it.